Oh! Glass Onion, a Knives Out. I'm not gonna call it that. I'm not calling the movie Glass Onion a Knives Out mystery. I get why they did that for marketing, but the movie, if it wants to stay on its own, it should just be Glass Onion. The title card when you watch the movie is just Glass Onion, and if each movie in the franchise can stand on its own, it has to be its own thing, and they can't all have a subtitle like this. You don't go to every James Bond movie and just see No Time to Die, James Bond movie, or whatever. Now, with that said, I love Knives Out. In 2019, I saw 3 movies at the end of the year that convinced me more than ever I should be a filmmaker. Those three films were Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse, and Knives Out. The Lighthouse being my favorite movie. I've said in many reviews, but you know, I'm also a big fan of Knives Out. Knives Out is just it's a fantastic modern murder mystery written and directed by Rian Johnson. That while not everyone liked the direction they went when they expected a murder mystery and being like, oh, great way to subvert our expectations, Ryan. It kind of made me realize what I like about murder mysteries compared to other movies that are murder mysteries. Or at least for me personally, what I think works or interests me more is that it's figuring out how and why about the mystery more so than the who of it. Which I won't elaborate on too much in case anyone who hasn't seen that movie decides to go watch it for the first time. But I will say this, you don't have to see that movie to understand this movie. I know this for a fact because my friend visiting outside went to go see this movie with me in theaters and he understood it just fine without seeing the first movie. And you know what? The movie doesn't even make any reference to that film. I think it closed one line, it's like, I've been in a situation where, I don't like being an unexpected guest. And that's pretty much it. That said, Netflix paid hundreds of millions of dollars for the rights to the sequels. They gave it a limited theatrical release that I felt like would be a must-watch in theaters, considering how much I loved the first. Which, sir, once in a while they will do a limited release in select theaters so they can their movies can qualify for awards and stuff. This one, they released it a month ahead of time because yeah, good marketing, Thanksgiving week. But you know what? I'm thankful they did it. I was able to see this movie in theaters, and it was worth it. Instead of just seeing it on a small screen. Because you know what? I'm so thankful I got to see one of my favorite films of the year this early. Thank you. I don't even really know how to give the premise of the movie as I went into this blind. Besides from seeing the cast list and maybe the location, but the setup, the characters, I didn't look at the main trailer, is what I'm saying. So I didn't know what character would play what. I didn't know who would be the butler, for example. There's no butler in the movie, but you get the idea. The cast of the first movie was a fantastic ensemble, and a new fantastic ensemble is also here with such great actors, including Edward Norton, Kathryn Hahn, Odom Jr, Hudson, Bautista, and so much more. Daniel Craig returns as Detective Benoit Blanc, which I don't know why. I always thought his name was pronounced Ben LeBlanc for some reason. I don't know why. That's just what I think his name was. But my God, does he just disappear into this role? And the same can be said about the rest of the cast just disappearing into the roles. With some like Kathryn Hahn and Bautista who, okay, sure, it did feel like a performance more so than I just watched people. Not to say they are bad. They also give their 100% along with everyone else in the cast. It's just hard to separate them a little more. But everyone else, my God, I forgot they were actors. I watched their characters, and they are just meant to be these comedic people. These that I enjoy watching. They gave their 100% for me to enjoy their performances, and it invested in me. It invested me where the story would go and what the characters would do next. With my favorite performance, I can't single out because if I did, that would kind of give a clue about the story. But if you watch the movie, you're gonna know probably what the performance is. You're probably gonna have the same favorite performance as me. Now, with that said, the loosest thing I can give with the premise to those who want some idea what the movie's about, instead of just going in blind, is that Benoit Blanc is mysteriously invited onto a rich person's island along with his rich friends for a murder mystery game, where things might not be what they seem. It's not the first time I've seen a murder mystery in fiction go wrong, or, become a real murder mystery. But what this movie does with it, it's so different and original. I can't spoil it, but let's just say, for the payoff for the fake murder mystery, it was the biggest laugh I got from this movie. This movie, it's hilarious. It's opening with maybe the characters doing one thing, and after they do it, and one character does the same thing a different way, it was a clear sign I knew I was in for a good time. All these characters are played for laughs, and make clear I don't need to take them that seriously. They are interesting and charming enough. I wanted to see them unravel and find out more about them, with Benoit Blanc as the one who is learning alongside the audience who these people are and how their worlds work, and by that, how rich people in this world work, because wow. The location of the movie, and going into it blind for a film titled Glass Onion, I didn't expect how that was going to be utilized, but it's such a fun location, over top in the best way. It takes a bit longer for the murder to come into place, but I was fine waiting because I love seeing these actors chew the scenery and listen to them just act off each other. Like Knives Out, it's one of my favorite ensembles of the year. In fact, with that movie being my favorite ensemble of that year, this might be my favorite ensemble of this year. Not to say everyone gave the best performances I've seen this year, but best ensemble means everyone does their parts great. And like Knives Out, the twist or reveal of the mystery is also a subversion, but it is something I did not see coming, and it goes along with how I personally feel about murder mysteries, where I feel like I can guess who did it, but how or why it's done, that's something I couldn't figure out, and as I said without spoilers, it gives me one of my favorite performances of the year. I just love how Daniel Craig is this character, and again, I can't go into spoilers, but man, do I love it how he plays this character. I mean, screw James Bond. He is so fantastic as this character. I hope he keeps playing him. I really don't know what to do or say else about the movie without giving away too many things, but I hope it makes it clear that I recommend this movie. It's nothing innovative or groundbreaking, but you know what this movie was? Fun. It was entertaining. It's enjoyable. It's likable. You know how many movies fail to do that, especially to this movie's degree? It is one of the most rewatchable movies I've seen this year, and honestly, I can just love a movie. And without saying, okay, maybe it's something you like, that's fine. But I love it, and I'm happy that I love it. I'm happy you like it. If you don't love it as much as I do, that's fine, but I love it. And you know what? This was just a year where the murder mystery movie kind of came back a little, but like, I saw movies like Death on the Nile, which was good, but even without knowing the source material, it was still predictable and paced poorly. See How They Run was okay, but pretty much just the kind of movie I imagine when people tell me they don't like Knives Out, since that one thinks it's, because people will always tell me, oh, that one is so agnostic for how self-aware it thinks it is. Like, oh, it's like, that's what See How They Run is to a horrible degree, where it's not that it's awful, but it pretends like it thinks it's so complex. Like, that movie literally opened like you see in every other murder mystery or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. It's been a while since I saw that movie. But my point is, I just see movies where they think they are smarter than they are, and it's obnoxious, where I'm like, I watched See How They Run, and I was like, okay, that's the person who did it. That's a red herring. I think the red herring would have been the actual more interesting thing. That would have been something new or different. But, you know, red herring, obvious villain. And with that said, what did I think of this movie in comparison to the first? Well, Glass Onion is... I'm not really sure, actually, now that I say that. I mean, in this movie, it was pretty obvious who the killer was going to be. And I thought... I wouldn't say it was that obvious, but you know what? At the very least, it was interesting how I got to learn who he or she was. Glass Onion might not be 100% unpredictable, but it's fun, entertaining, intriguing, and gorgeous to look at, endearing to listen to, phenomenal to watch on the big screen, and a good way to spend the time with friends and family. The first movie might have left a bigger impact on me, and I don't know for certain this movie is better than the first. I mean, the first one, I guess you can say it's more tight, and a lot more faster paced. I guess there were a couple times where maybe some monologues went on for a little too long, but I wanted to listen to them talk because, my God, I just love these characters talking. But it's on par and so enjoyable with the first movie, so you know what? Comparing or contrasting them, it just doesn't matter. I just need to enjoy what's right in front of me, and that is this great film. I love Glass Onion, and I can't wait for Knives Out 3. I give Glass Onion a 9 out of 10.